Greetings.
Greetings, greetings, greetings.
I'd like to give thanks for this privilege of sharing my love and light with all humanity. For we know that wherever we are, everyone, being only one on the planet, is where we are. And every word that we speak affects even the blades of grass. After listening to Andre Bocelli, I believe, I asked myself, what do I really believe? Which brings us to my topic, experiencing Christhood through belief. Our belief system supported us for our entire life. We can view our belief system as the best friend we have ever had. Our belief system was composed of what people told us through cultural conditioning, family dynamics, and mass consciousness, all but what we experienced ourselves. We are defined by our belief. And belief is the box we live in from day to day. And there are many boxes of belief. You see, it was necessary to develop the belief system for survival. We were innocent beings upon the planet, and we needed guidance. Cultural conditioning, family dynamics, and mass consciousness provided that guidance. We became who we need to be to survive. Now is the time to become who we are, who we need to be to thrive in the new world. Embrace the change. Belief is defined as conviction. That which you have convinced yourself is true about you. Your opinion, which is the way you understood what was told to you, your attitude, or your way of thinking at the time of hearing, and what you assumed to be true. Your conclusions that was true at the time. This is just an uncomplicated way to understand how you came to believe what you hold dear as truth for you. May I say, every belief you have ever had has become law for your life. If you want to change the way your life is flowing, change the belief. And I have included some areas to begin your journey back to your inner wisdom. We have been conditioned to dwell upon beliefs and not our unbelief. As an example, Scripture records an incident when a man came to Jesus to be healed. Jesus asked, "Do you believe that you can be healed?" He answered, "I believe, Lord. Help my unbelief." Have you ever considered your unbelief? And I will throw this in at no extra charge. Unbelief is unbelieving, doubting, skepticism, questioning, distrustful, suspicious, and unconvinced. And Dr. Holmes did not address unbelief in the textbook as it is an individual perception. We are defined by the box of belief we hold as true. What is true for me is not necessarily true for you. Beliefs are individual. Be willing to change your boxes of belief into circles to meld with the love energy that is flowing now. The shift of 2020 requires us to change that belief or unbelief system to one of our own wisdoms. It requires us to determine what is important, what serves us, and what is useful for our survival existence. From our survival existence. I'll say that again. It requires us to determine what is important, what serves us, and what is useful from our survival existence that can support us in the moment. Much of what we were conditioned to believe can be useful now. However, we must determine what we believe by being aware of everything we do, say, and think. Changing our behavior is the key, if necessary. The shift of 2020 is a shift in consciousness to divine love, and consciousness is energy. That means the only energy that is flowing to the planet now is the energy of love. Hence, it is important that we tell ourselves that we love ourselves, which changes the flow of energy from our previous behavior patterns created by our belief or unbelief system of survival. That helps us to learn to love the self, the God within us, simply by saying, I love myself just as I am. Your first question is what you believe about yourself, your idea of God, your family, your mate, your children, friendship, employment, health, home, your home, money, possessions, life, death, a place to begin changing your beliefs and unbeliefs. We suggest that you write these areas in your life on a piece of paper. Take time with yourself. Question yourself for each one of these and write down what comes to your mind, regardless of what it is. Don't analyze it, just write. You see, the universe knows that you are striving to express your highest self, your God self, and it is there to help. Rumi said, what you're most afraid of is where your greatest rewards are hidden. Your greatest rewards are hidden in your belief and unbelief. When you have contemplated each institution and discovered your idea, you are well on the way of using beliefs to embrace Christhood from a new perspective, a new way of thinking, and forgiveness is setting yourself free. On page 57-4, Dr. Holmes wrote, and I read, the one who wishes to scientifically work out his problems must daily take the time to meditate and mentally treat the condition, no matter what the apparent contradictions may be. Daily is the key. Daily meditating is the key. Even though this was written almost 100 years ago, it's appropriate for today's living. Now let us look at 3 concepts to aid us in changing our belief or unbelief system, which we had not considered. The first is facts. Get the facts. Facts are defined by Mr. Webster as we have used him as our authority on definition of words. I read, facts are evidence, information, and knowledge. What is your evidence of the fact of your belief, of what you believe about yourself, about God, about your friends? Our facts comes from science and individual living, occurrences, events, circumstances, incidents, and things done, and from our truth. The evidence of our fact comes from our truth. Look at your life. We outline the areas where you can start asking yourself, what is the truth about each area? Only you know the facts of every area of your life. The truth is hidden in your beliefs and unbeliefs. And we change the word beliefs to be alive, because when you look at every area of your life, it will bring the energy of aliveness, because you are a spiritual being. Dr. Seuss wrote, you have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes, and you can steer yourself in any direction. What are your boundaries? What are your principles? What sort of things you would not do under any circumstances? What have you considered truth for you? Our second concept is opinion. An opinion is described as belief, idea, criticism, and your mental attitude. Your mental attitude constitutes the tendency of your thought. I repeat, your mental attitude constitutes the tendency of your thought. That is to say, what do you tend to think about first when you hear loud noise or disturbing news? This is an opportunity to change your beliefs in the moment. How do you view those areas listed as true for you? Your opinion is made up of your criticism of the event taking place at the time. Your opinion is made up of the emotion or the energy in motion you felt at the time. Are you willing to let go of your opinion about everything? You see, we're in a new world, which means that we have to create a new world. We have no foundation for our future. It is now our time to create that future, and we do so by looking at our beliefs in order to embrace the Christhood. You do not know what you do not know. We are living in a time that is so very ripe for humans to step into their magnificence. We're living in times that afford our recognition of what it is we need, and it is done. Just stating your truth, not what others have told you. We are told that only 35% of the truth has been recorded. Everything else has been changed. The map of the world, the time zones we live in, the seasons, Everything has changed, and only 35% of it is true. Most of us, many of us, have gotten to 5, 10, 15% of that truth. Opinions are composed of your attitude, the way you look at yourself, your ideas, your concept, your theories and suggestions, your thoughts and feelings. When are you willing to let go of your opinion about everything you know? You are in the state of embracing Christhood through belief. When you become willing, simply become willing. An 8-year-old boy told me a few days ago he knew everything. And I smiled and thought, he did tell the truth. But what he does not know, like us, he had not uncovered his knowing. You do not know what you do not know. The new world as it is known, this new energy, the shift, all for human beings in evolution to evolve into the love energy or the love essence in which we were created, which we were made. We now have new tools to shape this world. At one time we sang the song, "We live today for tomorrow, on thoughts we think today." And tomorrow was going to mean that the next expression in body is what we will be living in, what we are living in this time. Tomorrow was going to mean the next expression in body, known as incarnation for our soul. Even though tomorrow never comes, it is always today. It is the present moment that counts for tomorrow. Everything that we do today counts for our tomorrows. Opinions are just that. Be willing to see everything differently. Our third and last concept is superstition. The origin of superstitions can be traced back to beliefs people held many, many years ago. Fear about the unseen, less knowledge about the forces of nature, and a lack of general awareness was the reason for the spread of certain beliefs in society. These beliefs might have lacked logic, but there was nothing that convinced people otherwise, and it was the best that we had. Much of what we were conditioned to believe is superstitious, and we find our superstitions by asking, why do I do what I do? Superstition includes delusions, falsehood, fantasies, and misconception. Many so-called superstitions as an irrational belief of the supernatural. And of course, those actions stem from ignorance, a fear of the unknown. But these so-called irrational acts are more normal than you may think. They have become normal through consistent practice and long-held beliefs and unbeliefs. What are common superstitions, and why do people believe in them? Everyone has common superstitions little rituals they do to feel safe or to take back a sense of control. Are you willing to examine your superstitions, to change your belief or unbelief, to don the hood of Christ? It is written that much of the world believes in superstition, and a few we have made experience in the United States is breaking the mirrors, bad luck, living by your horoscope, sleeping with your head in the north, omens, talismans, rabbit's foot, four-leaf clover, and a host of others. Be aware of your behavior, and it will give you insight to your superstitions, which is wrapped in fear. Change that belief or unbelief to embrace the Christhood. In closing, be willing to look at every belief, opinion, and superstition you have ever had, heard, or thought. Ask yourself, is this the truth for me? Begin talking to your body and it will answer for you. Just listen. Let us pray and give thanks for our individual message and the insight into a greater awareness of who we are and what we have come to do as light workers. We stand as beacons for the world. Our light is brought to this earth through our thoughts of love, of benevolence, compassion, and peace. So as we go forward each week, through the week, out into the marketplace, we give thanks for our individual message. And we let our light shine to everyone we think about, we meet, or we see. And until we meet again, divine presence goes before you, making your way perfectly clear. So it is. So we let it be.
Wow, wow, and wow. Wow. Now, listen, I've got to go listen to this on YouTube several times. It's just power pack. Power pack. Wow. And so the floor is open for anyone who wants to make a comment. Did you have any ahas? Like I had many ahas. Yeah, but, and, insights, questions. Please, it's your time to address them now, to teach Reverend Alma, she would say. All right, so let's see if there are any.
So Reverend
Yes.
Dr. Alma Stephen, wow, that was loaded. Loaded.
Loaded is a good word, yes.
So truth is not, there is not the truth or a truth. You mentioned truth is what? What is my truth?
Yes,
So I'm thinking there is no one truth.
that's right.
And I'm like, whoa, I need to unlearn more than 50 years of what I was taught. Oh, I mean, that is good news for me. Knowing that, you always think you have to believe what's out there and what is being said or taught, but my truth is just looking within. It's inside. Awesome. But integrity, you talk about integrity to somewhere along that line. There was something mentioning integrity. So I'm gonna have integrity and let others speak.
Thank you, and thank you. Mr. Smith has to put this on YouTube right away because I missed a whole bunch of it. I had a problem getting on this morning, so I would look for it on YouTube. Thank you, and thank you, Reverend Alma. You're always wonderful. Thank you for the words.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. One of the things that became more obvious for me to think about is my unbelief system. When you said, when you were, as you were going through talking about our belief system, up came the idea of unbelief. That's doubt. You said it was doubt, and well, I just have doubt as unbelief, and to define and to live through unbelief is the challenge that I see right now for me, because that was what came up. I had not thought about my unbelief system. I only focus the most attention on what I believe, not how to move the other part of my unbelief. I only think about what I believe rather than what I do not believe. And I'm getting the feeling that that unbelief is not the same as do not believe.
Yeah.
I get that feel, but I don't know how to distinguish them. But I do see that there's a difference between unbelief and do not believe.
Yes.
Yeah. So I guess that's a part of the journey that'll be made clear by and by. That's what I always say. You understand it better by and by. So I suppose that's a part of what will be understood more clearly by me as I move forward.
Dr. Holmes said, you must believe. You see, that's the first step. That is the first step in ascending or increasing your frequency. You believe. What do you believe? I believe in God. So if you believe in God, you ask yourself, why do I believe in God? I can't see it. And I say I feel God, but I can't prove it. And what are the facts about your truth of I believe in God? What is your facts? My fact is, well, you think about the experiences you had that you had no control over, and you decide that this is one of the beliefs that you've had in God, and strengthen that belief. Look at all the times that you were I think most of us on this call, we can look back into our life at our experiences and solidify the truth for us of our knowing, our cognizant of the idea of God. You see, it's just an idea that we have embraced through our cultural conditioning, mass consciousness, race consciousness, as we call it. What is my belief? What do I believe? Do I believe God is that God of the Bible that they told me about? What do I really believe about God? You write it down, and the answers will come. You see, for most of us, we are afraid. We are really actually afraid of God. Because fear, the word awe comes out of fear. When we saw how magnificent we were in our creations, it frightened us. And not at that level. It only frightened us when we got to this level in the body as humans. So fear then, coming out of the word awe, means splendor, magnificent. And when we use those words in our everyday life, we bring back that energy of creation when we first created out of pure love our world, our 3D world. For now we have moved into the place that we are creating a 5D world, 5 dimensions, meaning that we are living in a higher energy, a higher vibration as human beings.
Wow.
So, and he said to ask question him. So for me, yes, fear was what stopped me. And I felt as if I ask this question and questioning God, it means I don't believe.
That's why you ask the questions, because you don't believe.
But I thought I believe.
I know. Yeah, that's what I say. We don't know what we don't know.
Mm,
So question, even though you feel the fear. Remember, we said, as a quote, our fear, our fear, our greatness is in our fear. As we said earlier in the message, that's where our greatness is, in our fear. And when we are willing to face every fear, and the first one is God. When we are willing to face our fear of God, do I feel God? And your feeling, your body will tell you.
Wow.
No,
mm.
no.
That
Yeah.
was the other thing that I has asterisk for. When you mentioned what you're afraid of is where your greatest reward is. And I was like, what? How can
What?
I fear of candy? What reward is that? I'm afraid of cat. I'm afraid of dying. What reward is there? But
Wow.
when you spoke about God, I got it when you give that example with about God, and because getting away from those, when you don't have those fear, then I guess it just left ah wow,
Mm-hmm.
just got chills for that. When
Yes. Oh,
fear is
yeah.
out of your life, what is left?
Yeah.
Can't even put it to words.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You, when fear is out of your life, then you will have courage to live. We came here to live, and for most of us, we have run from life. We have not lived life. And when we are willing to step beyond a fear that we have, then we are moving to the aliveness of the human being for who we are. That spirit that's wrapped in this material essence.
Wow. Reverend Alma, we need a whole nother session for this one here. There's a lot to be trashed out. As we would say in Jamaica, we trash it out.
Have to.
So we got to. Leading up to another question that I had about the unbelief system, because I too need a little more expounding on that part, because it says, embedded in my unbelief are these things that cause me to ask questions. Yes, there are doubts. And if you know my middle name, you know that it's question. Last week, if you were in the session when I went to Helena to speak, and you heard Dr. Charles talking, when he was introducing me, he said, when I was in his class, he was sometimes so, and you could see that his forehead get wrinkled and creased when I opened my mouth to ask questions, because it's like, whoa, what is she coming with now? And I'm sure, Reverend Alma, you can remember some of those sessions we had back 10 years ago when I was asking questions. You know, I have a lot of them. So it caused me, when you said the system of unbelief, it caused me to re-examine something about me. So guess what? We got to go into another session. So
Well,
the
that's fine,
speaker's hand is raised too.
but just to clear that up for this moment, for you and myself as well. Think of the unbelief as the subjective mind, or your behaviors, and think of belief as the conscious mind. The conscious mind has created the subjective mind, as we know, or the subconscious mind, as some people call it.
Right.
So unbelief is in our subconscious mind that affects our behavior, and the conscious mind or belief just starts the engine for it.
Yes.
Maybe that
Yes.
maybe
It's,
that will
yeah,
help
we will.
go
Yeah, it does. You
deeper.
know, sometimes we have our little lessons, our debates after the talks, or while he's putting it up, we'll say, "Oh, I didn't know the speaker said that," and we'll be there sometime, you know, in our own little world, sorting it out. So I know we'll be sorting out that, and I see his hand is raised, and that will be the last comment because the time is going to be slipping away from us. Last comment, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Reverend Alma, I think you said Dr. Holmes did not address unbelief in his writing. Did I hear that correctly?
He did not list it. I did not find unbelief in the concordance
Okay,
because unbelief is individual.
right.
Those it comes from your doubts, your personal superstitions, and your opinions. Yes, you're right.
Okay, secondly, um, I looked at what I have learned as a child, and I'm looking at where I was taught that there is God, and God, and there are other, what would you say, controlling entities, part of which Reverend Stocking touched on last week when he questioned, you know, how there is God and there is also good and evil. Now, Reverend Mazzy and myself were discussing a song yesterday, and in the song it alluded to uh, a force coming to the singer like nature, and the force of nature. And when I thought of your teaching on words, I looked at the word like, and when the singer said the thing came to, it was describing God coming through like the force of nature. We were discussing, I'm saying, there is no like the force of nature. That is liking God unto itself, because nature is God. And so the idea put in our minds that there are different parts, or God is in three parts, or as many parts as we wish to describe it, you know.
Yeah.
I think we need, I'm happy for the realization from the science of mind that brings me to the oneness that
Yes,
there
yes,
is,
yes.
you know,
Yeah.
in the universe.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Reverend Alma, for your teaching. We had a healthy debate. You know, we have debates all day long, but that one was good. All right. So, Reverend Alma, yeah, we're just on pause right now as we go into the next segment of our celebration. However, you know, sharpen up your beak for continued discussions here.